Hey folks, welcome back to Indaba Africa. This is Chris with a breaking news story coming out of South Africa today, the 10th of November, 2020. Within the past few hours, the South African government has issued an arrest warrant for the African National Congress's General Secretary, Ace Magashule, who has now been charged with corruption. This has long been simmering. There have been rumors that Ace Magashule had an arrest warrant issued for him over the past few months, but it had not occurred. In the past, the National Prosecuting Authority has stated that they will only charge senior officials when they have a case they are confident that they can win. If it's a winnable case, they'll charge officials. Now, that's kind of unfortunate, but that is the position. So this will raise all sorts of speculation about what exactly is happening in South Africa. This is all tied to when Ace Magashule, who is the current General Secretary of the African National Congress, when he was the Premier of the Free State, in a case that involved 255 million rand for an asbestos tender that was granted to a company. Now, that's about 16.5 million US dollars. But the Hawks Serious Corruption Investigation Unit has confirmed that, in fact, they've issued an arrest warrant for Ace Magashule. So we'll see what happens here. Apparently, he's going to be able to turn himself in. He's not being hunted down, no perp walk, nothing like that, things that probably most other South Africans would have to endure, but not Ace Magashule, the number 2 in the African National Congress party structure. As I said, speculation is that he got kickbacks from an asbestos contract or tender for 255 million rand while he was premier in the Orange Free State. So this is all tied to an investigation that had been ongoing in which the letters AM, the initials AM, appeared in a spreadsheet from Edwin Sodi, who was one of the people who was involved in the tender, and this was showing a kickback that was paid to someone with the initials AM, and that's initially how Ace Magashule came to the Hawks' attention. For those who don't know, the Hawks is an extra legal body that was created to replace the Scorpions, and also an extra legal body that was created in response to crime being out of control in South Africa a few decades ago. The South African government created the Scorpions to be an extra legal, kind of like a flying squad, but with all kinds of responsibility. They had the ability to issue warrants, the ability to make arrests, the ability to prosecute cases, and do everything essentially that the criminal justice system was failing to do effectively. The Scorpions were wildly effective. They stamped out a lot of organized crime, took down a lot of kingpins until they started doing exactly what the Hawks have done here, going after senior political officials in the African National Congress. Not because they were political, the Scorpions that is, but because senior political officials in the African National Congress were complicit and guilty in corruption. And once they started going after them, the ANC couldn't tolerate them anymore. So they were disbanded. Leonard McCarthy was disgraced, the head of the Scorpions, unjustly so. He was smeared by the African National Congress, and the Scorpions disappeared. Criminal enterprises flourished. After that, the Hawks were created to replace the Scorpions, and they have nowhere near the authority and powers that the Scorpions once had. Now, I'm not a fan of organizations like the Scorpions being created. That is a drastic step, and it should not be necessary in a functioning democracy. But in South Africa's case, it actually did its job. The Hawks have done an averaged a fair job. They've been slow in investigating some corruption, but in the case of Ace Magashule, they finally have a case that they're willing to go forward with, and an arrest warrant was issued in the past 3 hours for Ace Magashule, the General Secretary of the African National Congress. Folks, this is earth-shattering news to see such a high-level official finally charged with a crime. Former President Jacob Zuma continues to skate by, not having been charged with crimes that he's clearly complicit in. And there's no way he's not complicit in it based on previous judgments against his financial advisor, Sheikh Shabir. Well, while people were wondering where Ace Magashule is at, he was out today campaigning. It's by-election time in the next couple of days in South Africa, so he's out campaigning in Soweto today for the African National Congress. He'll be turning himself in reportedly on Friday this week to authorities. And he doesn't seem to be concerned. He appears to be nonplussed based on his comments, saying that he'll talk to his attorneys. Seems to be not in the least bit concerned about what's going on here. Well, if I was Ace Magashule, I think I would ask myself this question. How close are you to Cyril Ramaphosa? Whether you realize it or not, there's a purge within the ANC taking place, and it began openly with the sanctioning of the defense minister. There's a purge of non-Ramaphosa crowd people being marginalized and pushed to the side. Now, I have no objections to that. Most of the non-Ramaphosa people are very objectionable people in the first place. But that is what's taking place in South Africa, folks. Once again, breaking news today, the 10th of November, 2020, the Hawks Investigative Unit, the Hawks Serious Corruption Investigation Unit, has issued an arrest warrant for the African National Congress's General Secretary, Ace Magashule, tied to a 255 million rand asbestos tender case from when his time in the Free State as the premier there. It's a $16.5 million contract. There you go, folks. Once again, the ANC, the party of state capture. Well, folks, if you're not a subscriber, Chris White Africa asks you to take a second and smash the subscription button right down there. Become a subscriber. Be sure to toggle the bell icon to get notified of any updates or live streams, any special featured guests coming up on the channel. And finally, I ask that you smash the like button right down at the bottom because likes drive viewership. The more people that see this video, the more likely it is that YouTube will promote it. And when they promote it, others will learn about what's happening in South Africa. Folks, hashtag the world must know. The world must know what is happening in South Africa. Thank you for your time, for your patience, and for your patrons. God bless.